It wasn't the kind of town that drew crowds or tourists. Small, quiet, and nestled between thick, whispering woods, Millbrook had the kind of silence that made you hear every leaf rustle and every footstep, even when no one else was around. The kind of place that had stories, old legends whispered by kids around campfires, but nothing to truly scare anyone. Nothing that wasn't just the product of imagination. Until the night Mia felt the chill crawl down her spine. She had always been an avid explorer, partly out of boredom, partly out of curiosity. Growing up in Millbrook, she had learned the woods and creeks like the lines on her hand, but that all changed when her friends started whispering about the Rake. The stories were vague, mostly told in hushed tones around flickering flames. Tall, gaunt, with pale, almost translucent skin stretched tight across its bones. Whispers said it moved silently, stalking the woods at night, waiting for those careless enough to wander too far. Mia dismissed the stories as silly urban legends, until the night she saw it. It was clear and cold, the moon casting thin silver beams through the leafless branches. She had stayed late at her friend Lily's house, sitting on the porch, giddy from a night of movies and popcorn, when she heard the soft crunch of leaves behind her. Initially, she thought it was a stray animal or maybe Lily's little brother, but the noise was too deliberate, too silent for an animal. Her heart thumped unexpectedly hard. She turned sharply, the cool night air prickling her skin, and saw it. A figure, tall, impossibly thin, standing just beyond the tree line. Hollow eyes stared, unblinking, beneath a bald, grotesque head. Its skin was pallid, almost translucent, stretched tight over its skeletal features. No nose, no ears, just a featureless face that seemed to shimmer in and out of focus with the shadows. Mia froze. Her breath hitched as her mind scrambled to process what she was seeing. Was this real, or had her nightmares finally broken the thin barrier of sleep? The figure took a single, slow step forward. Silent, unnervingly silent. Mia's instinct was to run, but her legs felt glued to the porch. Her voice caught in her throat as she watched it approach, tense and trembling. When it finally moved, it was like the wind, quiet, whispering through the trees. Then, in a flash, the creature was right in front of her. She could see its cracked, almost mummified skin up close, the faint sparkling of a film of something moving underneath. Its hollow eyes held her with a kind of terrible, hypnotic stare. It extended a long, spindly finger, and for a moment she thought it was going to touch her. But instead, it simply disappeared into the shadows, as quietly as it had arrived. Mia staggered inside, her body trembling. She tried to convince herself it was just her imagination, that maybe her mind was playing tricks. But then the shadows in her room flickered, and she found a strange, faint imprint left on her window, the outline of a hand, impossibly tiny, and pale that seemed to glow in the moonlight. The next morning, she told her friends, but they laughed. "The Rake," Lily said with a grin, mockingly. "That's just a stupid story, like Bigfoot." But Mia knew what she saw. Deep in her gut, she knew it was real. Over the following nights, the sightings grew more persistent. She'd wake to find strange footprints outside her window. Long, thin prints that disappeared into the woods. Once, she found a small, pale feather on her doorstep. A feather that shimmered oddly in the daylight, like it was made of translucent silk. It got worse when she started seeing it during the day. Sometimes, just beyond her peripheral vision, she'd catch the glint of that bald, terrifying face staring back at her from the trees. Sometimes, she was certain it was watching her when she was alone in her room. Her parents dismissed her fears. They'd seen nothing, and in a town like Millbrook, strange stories were just that, stories. But Mia knew better. One night, determined to confront her fears, she took a flashlight and ventured into the woods. She moved cautiously, heart pounding, until she reached the old abandoned cabin near the creek. It was said to be haunted, but she wasn't afraid, she wanted answers. Inside, dust and broken wood coated everything. The place was silent except for her own breathing. As she explored, she found strange symbols etched into the walls, scratches, really, sparse and hurried. But embedded among them was a line of what looked like tiny handprints, barely visible. Then she heard it again, the soft, almost inaudible sound of crunching leaves. She froze. A flash of pale skin appeared, just at the edge of her vision. "Mia," a whisper, soft, cold, like a breath directly in her ear. Its voice was raspy, strained, like a paper torn slowly. Terrified, she spun around. The creature was there, closer now. Its hollow eyes seemed to pierce through her, and it moved with unnatural precision, limping slightly, but silently, stalking towards her. Mia backed out of the cabin, tripping over the broken steps. Her mind screamed at her to run, but her body refused. Instead, she stared, helpless, as it drew nearer, its skeletal fingers reaching. In a blur of adrenaline, she turned and bolted through the woods, the leaves crunching loudly beneath her feet. Her chest heaved, her lungs burning as she ran back toward her house, stumbling onto the porch in tears. That night, Mia refused to sleep. Her mind replayed every detail, the hollow eyes, the translucent skin, the chilling whisper. As midnight struck, she looked out her window again, trembling. And there it was, standing across the yard, just beyond the paling fence. Pale, silent, watching. The thing that haunted her nights and days, always just out of reach but never gone. She knew she could never escape it. The creature fed on fear, on curiosity. In Millbrook, the stories had been right all along. The rake was real, and it was still watching. Waiting for those who wandered too close, for the missteps, the moments of weakness. And she realized, with mounting dread, that she was no longer dreaming. It was real, and it was coming for her.